Hello and welcome to another edition of CU Sports Mag. I'm Cyrus Allen and beside me is the dapper Alec Moylan.
Thanks, Cyrus. It's finally spring here in Boulder. The snow may be gone, but I think the Buffaloes are excited about the weather.
Yes, the Buffs really heated it up this week.
Especially the men's basketball team against the Wildcats. That game was definitely the story of the week, and a lot rested on that game.
Yeah, to say a lot rested on this game was an understatement. 9th-ranked Arizona, who have completely romped the Buffs in the past couple years, came to Core Event Center playing good ball. On the other side, the Buffs came into the game suffering back-to-back losses and desperately needing a win against a top-ranked opponent to cement an NCAA tournament berth. After a relatively back-and-forth first half, the Buffs broke it open in the second, led by the team's anchor, Josh Scott, as well as a valiant effort by Wesley Gordon.
The Buffs had a double-digit lead for much of the second half, but things got tense as Arizona started to crawl its way back late. Superman Josh Scott, who led the team with 25 points and 9 rebounds in the game, took over with 6 minutes left in the game, scoring 17 of CU's final 25 points.
In addition, power forward Wesley Gordon made it all possible with 12 gritty rebounds, 7 coming on the offensive end. He also scored 8 points and dished out 6 assists on the day.
Arizona made it close at the end with their overall toughness and tenacity on the boards, with the final score of 75-72, a clutch win for the Buffaloes and their tournament hopes.
Everyone knows that the student athletes played a great game against Arizona, but I went to the game to find out more about the students in the sports medicine program that makes sure that the players always play their best.
Men's basketball game at Coors Event Center, most people come out to see the players. But what most people don't see is the sports medicine team behind the players who help them get ready for games on game day. I met up with Yashar Benham, a CU student, to see what his role is within the CU Sports Medicine program.
I basically help out the athletic trainers with the prevention, evaluation, and rehabilitation of sports medicine injuries. Usually have to set a schedule and set aside time to get my homework. But when we travel, there's a lot of downtime. There aren't that many internships that allow you to have direct patient contact, so it's been pretty cool. And I've been learning a lot about PT. I've been involved pretty substantially. I get to talk to our team physicians and team physical therapists. I've got to sit in on some surgeries.
During the game, Yashar sits directly behind the bench. He's always with the team, and he helps them with anything that they need, ranging from getting a towel, retaping them, and even getting them water. But Yashar does not go unnoticed by the players.
They're at every practice, helping us with getting ice after practice and helping us with getting water and stuff. And then even after the game, just helping us getting ice on our arms or just whatever. They're just a lot of help.
Shout out Sports Medicine. I know y'all representing the students out there. Appreciate y'all.
So next time your favorite CU athlete goes down with a sprained ankle or sprained wrist, just remember that CU Sports Medicine students are there to get it back on the court. It's all gone.
Reporting for Sports Mag, I'm Cyrus Allen.
Padding. The CU Sports Medicine program here at CU is awesome, and they always perform at a high standard to make sure that all the students that we love to watch and talk about play every game. Next time you go to a game, look around and see if you can see any of your fellow students helping out the players in any way they can.
Coming off a major upset win at home against Arizona, it could be easy to let a win slip away in an away game against Arizona State. Arizona State does not have an impressive record, but neither do the Buffs on the road with only 2 wins on the season. 3 keys for the Buffs to pull out a win is to first continue to try to dominate the boards. The Buffs aren't really an offensive team, so they have to make sure they give themselves as many opportunities as they can. Second, they have to limit the turnovers. The Buffs almost gave away the game at Arizona, so they have to make sure they cut out their bad habits before the Pac-12 tournament begins. Finally, the role players have to step up and take some of the load off Josh Scott. Josh Scott won't be able to carry the team forever, and other players are going to have to step up for the Buffs to get momentum heading into the postseason. Those are the keys to victory.
After the upset against Arizona this past week, we here at Sports Mag are still so fired up that Forrest Cobble and Steve Nelson are in the studio to break down the game and the controversy of court storming.
What's up, Buff fans? My name is Steve Nelson, and joining me on this week's edition of Double Team is the always insightful Forrest Cobble. Now, Forrest, last night, our men's basketball team pulled off a huge upset against the number 9 ranked Arizona Wildcats in Coors Event Center. Amazing game. Tell us what they were able to do in this game to stick through to the very last buzzer and pull out this win against a tough team.
Well, in the last 2 games, they've been inconsistent. They haven't shot well from the perimeter because the inside game has been lacking. Josh Scott was injured in one of those games, and I think it really showed down the stretch. In this game, they came back home, really had to reestablish that confidence, and I think they did so because they established the inside game. If you look at Josh Scott, 26 points, 9 rebounds. Wesley Gordon, also 12 rebounds. Both played really well on both sides of the court. They beat out those tough Arizona big men, Tarczewski, Anderson, and that's the kind of battles we need to win to go far in the tournament. I think this game is huge, building their confidence for the big dance.
Definitely. This game locked up a tournament bid for the Buffs. Beating a number 9 team like that when you're unranked, huge confidence boost. And speaking of all that, I want to ask you, you were at the game last night, you lucky duck, and tell us what that atmosphere was like in the Coors Event Center. That just must have been amazing.
Yeah, the fans were excited. I was glad to see that the student section was packed along with the rest of the stadium. The cheers were going loud. Everyone was excited, into the game, aware of what was going on, and critical of the refs when they needed to be. I think that's what the CU students need to show every game.
Definitely. And now one thing that I want to talk about here that has been garnering a lot of controversy is the court storm at the end. Because after the game, Greg Byrne, who is the Arizona athletic director, tweeted out that in 10 of the last 11 road losses for the Wildcats, they've had the court stormed on them. So they're getting a little tired of this, and Sean Miller, their coach, is worried that at one point one of their players is going to snap and maybe punch a fan or fight back. Do you think this is a legit concern here?
I totally do. And, Sean Miller said this in the same breath that he said he wanted to be a good sport. But I think that it's really important that he bring attention to this issue because someone is going to get hurt. There's expensive equipment on the court as well that could get damaged. I think it's a completely legitimate concern. Plenty of other conferences are addressing it. The commissioner of the Pac-12 was actually there last night seeing it firsthand, and I think it should be obvious that there's a risk here, and players are in danger.
It's definitely an issue that could require more investigation, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Steve Nelson. This is Forrest Cobble. Back to you guys at the desk.
Our trivia question this week was a little bit of a challenge. I say this because I didn't even know the answer. Hopefully some of you will. The question is, how much was CU fined after the Arizona court storming?
Coming up after the break, football may not be in season, but we have updates on what to look for in 2016.
And we take a look back.
Greg, are you okay?
Holy shit.
Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seized several tons of crack and marijuana, and closed down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me? Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri. Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. They're at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea. Through the Columbia Gorge.
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
The sweet Pacific Ocean. Yeah!
Sounds like a sorry.
Women's basketball senior day was a success. The team beat University of California 78-57, which was a desperately needed win to end their 5-game losing streak. Senior Jamie Swan ended her final home game scoring 18 points and gathering 12 rebounds for her third double-double of the season. She left the game with 57.7 seconds remaining to the crowd chanting her name in a standing ovation. Our very own Sports Mag alumni Mallory Chris was also an honored student on senior night for her dedication and hard work with the team for the past few years.
The Buffs went 1-1 for their last regular season home games, and the one player got a very special accolade. Reporter Jessica Malknick has the story.
Colorado women's basketball player Kennedy Leonard left her mark in the history books, and she's only a freshman.
Leonard has recently been named the Pac-12 Conference Freshman of the Week, this coming off her stellar performance on Sunday against the California Bears to give the Buffaloes their second conference win of the season.
But I was just excited to finally get it, and I got it because I think mostly because of my assists, and I'm so happy because my team made all those shots, and it's fun when everybody gets involved. So I thought that was really, really cool.
The 5'8" guard from Southlake, Texas averaged 18 points, 7.5 assists, and 3 rebounds over the weekend. The team fell to 15th-ranked Stanford on Friday night, then blew by Cal with a 21-point victory, 78-57.
It's finally you're yes, okay, my hard work's paying off, but don't stop being hungry, keep on going. So it's kind of oh yeah, I got it, but how many more can you kind of get?
The first-year Buff finished the game with a career-high 23 points and 13 assists. With those numbers, she became just the third player to record a double-double in a season, and the second to have a 20-10 points-assist game. The humble freshman says the numbers have nothing to do with her, but everything to do with her teammates.
I think overall, just everybody on the team, even people on the sidelines who weren't in at the time exactly, I think that they had a huge part as well because they were cheering, telling people to keep going. And so the award, yeah, it's not mine, it's everybody else who did something to give me that.
Her 13 assists rank 4th all-time in the program's history. In addition, the freshman was also named the CU Athlete of the Week.
Leonard hopes to use this as a motivator going into the team's final game of the regular season. The Buffs face the Washington Huskies tomorrow at 2 p.m. Reporting for Sports Mag, I'm Jessica Maltneck.
The Buffs fell on the road to the Washington State Cougars, with Kennedy Leonard leading the team with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists.
3 of our fellow Buffaloes will be attending the annual gathering of the top college talent at the NFL Combine. We start off, of course, with Nelson Spruce, who left CU with 294 catches, 3,347 yards, and 23 touchdowns. His 294 catches were also a Pac-12 record. He did suffer an ankle injury for much of his last season, but he says he is 100% ready to go. Next, we have cornerback Ken Crawley, who appeared in 47 career games and finished with 46 tackles last season. He had a team high of 11 third down stops and 13 broken up passes. And finally, offensive lineman Stefan Nembot will be attending as well. The 3 are considered to be mid to late round draft picks, and we're wishing them all the best of luck.
A new chapter is beginning in an area that will be extremely important for CU football when the Buffs start spring ball in 2 weeks. It will be Clayton Adams' first spring as the Buffs offensive line coach. He has played the position as well as any coach for the 2 seasons at Sacramento State, and he is eager to start developing some consistency on the line, especially after last year's injury-plagued season. Adams told players, "I don't care how many games you've started, I don't care how many games you've started at what position, nobody in here is a starter, and we are going to try to find the best 5 guys to go out there that first week."
Well, spring football is just about to be in full swing, and Christine Lambert is here to give us an update on all the new changes to the team.
And welcome to this week's edition of Buff Banter. I'm Christine Lambert, here to update you on CU football. At this point, you might be thinking, wait a second, football isn't going on right now. Well, that's where you're wrong. Football is always going on. So while the team may not actually be playing yet, or even practicing for that matter, there is still plenty of action to be keeping up with. First of all, head coach Mike McIntyre is switching it up with the coaching staff. Darian Hagan, who has served as Director of Player Development for the past 3 seasons, has been named as the running backs coach for the 2016-2017 season. Real quick fun fact about Hagan, he was the quarterback who led CU to the 1990 National Championship and 3 Big 8 conference titles. It'll be great to have him back in action with the team. Assistant coach Clayton Adams has moved on to coaching the offensive line, a position he's very familiar with. Upon meeting with the offense line for the first time, he told them that he does not care how many games they have started and in what position. No one is automatically a starter. Sounds like a tough guy, but with that mindset, he should be able to choose the best players to go out there for the first game. 2 more coaches have been added to new positions. Gary Bernardi to tight ends and fullbacks, and Darren Chiavarini as the co-offensive coordinator / wide receiver coach / recruitment coordinator. Chiavarini helped recruit 18 new players for the Buffs this year, and this may be the best class yet. CU will gain 3 defensive backs, 5 wide receivers, 3 linebackers, 4 offensive linemen, 1 running back, and 2 quarterbacks. One of these quarterbacks is Davis Webb, a transfer from Texas Tech who is currently everyone talking. As a potential starter, Webb may be giving Sefo Lufau, our starter for the past 3 years, a run for his money. Spring practice officially starts Wednesday, March 2nd, and the annual spring game is set for Saturday, April 9th. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Christine Lambert. Back to you guys at the desk.
The women's golf team continues to impress after a solid spring debut at the Peg Barnyard Invitational and is now ranked 20th in the nation. The team is led by junior Esther Lee, who finished 11th overall at the Invitational and is ranked 13th among golfers in the country. After the 6th place finish, the Buffs climbed 2 spots in the polls and are set to head to the West Coast for its next tournament in a couple of weeks. The Buffs will play in the Bay Area Intercollegiate in California on March 7th and 8th. Good luck, ladies.
The women's golf team cooked up something new this week, and it's not on the grass, but rather in the kitchen. CU sports dietitian Laura Anderson and assistant sport dietitian Dana Belinsky helped the Buffs to cook up an up-close look of how to cook a balanced meal, all while practicing their culinary skills. The Buffs also learned some food safety tips about certain types of food like raw chicken. They also talked about the benefits of eating at home and saving money instead of ordering takeout.
On Sunday, the men's golf team battled for first and came out just short and finished second behind Kansas at the Wyoming Desert Intercollegiate. Senior Philip Julberg recorded his 4th career top 5 finish and ended the weekend at 3rd. To lead the Buffaloes, CU's 5 designated scorers led the field in pars with 180 through the weekend. The Buffs are off for over a month as they get ready to compete in Stanford. Good win March 24th through the 26th.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about a very exciting win from the Buffs.
And we'll let you know what were good, what was bad, and what was downright ugly in the past week. Don't go anywhere. God damn it.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
No, what'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone. Mom, I'm on the phone! Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone. All right. Sorry. Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Bloom, former CU student, football player, Olympian, and world champion. But most importantly, I'm a forever Buff, which means I'm part of 240,000 students and alums created by the CU Boulder Alumni Association. The University of Colorado will always be something I'm very proud to be a part of. The years that I spent going to school and playing football provided me with some of the best memories of my life. So come join me in creating lifelong CU relationships and explore the Forever Buff program.
Don't be mean. Clean your machine.
CU had a big week and came out on top over Arizona in a big win. So this week on the good, the bad, and the ugly, we start with the good in the men's basketball win over number 9 ranked Arizona. It was a huge win for CU after a few tough losses, and afterward the student section ran onto the court to celebrate with the team with the biggest win of the year.
For the bad, since CU did so well this week, we decided to have Arizona help us out during the basketball game. The Wildcats shot 3 of 11 beyond the arc, and all those missed shots were a big part of CU getting the win at home.
And now on to the next part, the ugly. During the game, there was a lot of commotion, but there was one point in particular where one fan took it upon himself to help the team and make Arizona miss some shots, in really the best way that he knew how, with the gold Speedo. Maybe that's why Arizona shot so poorly from 3. Goodness knows I wouldn't be able to focus on that. And he's actually a good friend of mine. His name is Scott, and he goes to most of the home games, not just for basketball, but for most CU sports. And if wearing a Speedo helps the Buffs get a win, I'm all for it. And, well, that's going to be all for this week's edition of the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ski team also put in a dominant performance in the New Mexico Invitational this past weekend that led to a big Buffalo victory. Senior Mads Strom completed a meet sweep by winning the 5K freestyle, and the team also swept the podium on the Alpine race, finishing 1, 2, and 3. The excellent work from everyone on the team led to a big win for the Buffs, and headed into the final weekend of the season, the team is in good position to take a deep and talented team into the NCAA championship and hopefully win another title.
Track and field has truly been a bright spot for CU this year. The CU has ranked athletes in a multitude of events and is gearing up for the NCAA Indoor Championships. Senior Pierce Murphy ranks 6th in the nation in the 5,000 meter, and on the women's side, Erin Clark and Caitlin Brenner are ranked 3rd and 4th in the country. Sprinters Anna Holland is a top 10 performer in the 60 and 200 meter dash, and these are just individual achievements, as CU has many team accolades as well. It has been another successful year for track and field, so let's hope everything goes as well as at the Indoor Championships when they come around.
CU Lacrosse has done it again. They continue their season opening road trip with yet another win. They played Fresno State on Sunday and beat them 18-4. The Buffs started off the game strong and ended up outshooting Fresno State 17-9 in the first half alone. Bulldogs were able to come back a little and cut the lead to 13 with 20 minutes remaining in the game, but the Buffs held in there and goalie Paige Sokenson didn't let anything else in. The team is currently 2-0 and travel to 11th ranked Notre Dame and Marquette.
The women's tennis team finished off a long road trip against 18th ranked Ole Miss, and despite excellent play from Janez Daniel and Annabelle Andronopoulos, who started the day off with doubles wins, they could not get the win. Ole Miss took over from there and won 6 singles matches despite the loss. Coach Nicole Kennelly was happy with the performance of the team and hopes they can use the loss to come back and get a win when they play rival Colorado State at home on Saturday, March 5th.
Coming up after the break, we'll finally give you that answer to the trivia question we know you're really stumped on.
And of course, we have my favorite segment of all time, Rapid Fire. All that and more, so don't go away.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Nutrition can lead to great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
We have a lot of great athletes here at CU, so it's always difficult to pick our athletes of the week. However, this week had some standout performances. Women's basketball, Jamie Swan had a memorable farewell weekend as she scored 43 points and 15 rebounds, with 25 points against number 15 Stanford and 18 points against Cal. Swan said she wanted to leave her mark on Coors Event Center, and that's exactly what she did. Way to go out with a bang. Second, we have Josh Scott, who helped power the Buffs in the upset of number 9 Arizona. In the game, he scored 26 points, including 17 of CU's final 25 points. Scott also grabbed 9 rebounds and had key blocks down the stretch. Josh Scott put the team on his back, though, and that's why he undoubtedly deserves to be Athlete of the Week.
Do you ever feel like you're bored on the weekend and just don't know what to do? Well, Audrey Rodriguez is in the studio to let you know all about the Buffs events. You can keep watching so that you're not busy. Here's another edition of Rapid Fire.
Good evening, Buff fans. I'm Audrey Rodriguez, and this is Rapid Fire. In women's lacrosse, Colorado continued its season-opening road trip with a convincing 18-4 win at Fresno State on Sunday. The team is now headed to Indiana to play Notre Dame on Friday, February 26. At the men's basketball game Wednesday night, fans and students, including myself, stormed the court as Colorado upset number 9 Arizona at home. The next game is going to be exciting. It's set to play Arizona State, scheduled for this Sunday at 2:30. In CU women's tennis, the team finished with a road trip of 7-0, a loss as they traveled south to play 18th-ranked Ole Miss last Sunday. The Buffaloes will be off next week, but will return to play Saturday, March 5th. Despite what our graphic might say, we're not perfect here at Sports Mag. They're going to play Colorado State. This just in for golf news. The CU women's golfers are ranked 20th in the nation. Colorado opened its spring season at the Peg Barnard Invitational in Stanford, California, where they finished in 6th place. The team will then travel to California for the Bay Area Intercollegiate on Monday, March 7th. That's all for this week. I'm Audrey Rodriguez. This is CU Sports Mag. Back to you at the desk.
I know you've all been wondering what the answer of our trivia question is. How much was CU fined after the Arizona court storming? Are you ready? The answer is nothing. We aren't being fined anything because luckily the Pac-12 Conference has not passed any specific regulations for storming the court. But if we were in the SEC Conference, it would be a different story. If you storm the court in the SEC Conference, you are fined $50,000 for the first time, $100,000 for the second time, and $250,000 for the third.
Well, unfortunately, the show has come to an end and we must say goodbye.
I know, but remember to catch up on all the Buffs this weekend.
Go get some sun in this gorgeous weather. Maybe get a tan. Go skiing.
Hey, and if you're really lucky, maybe you can ski and tan with our very own Colorado Buffalo ski team.
Wouldn't that be something? Well, it's been a great week for the Buff fans, and we'll see you all next week.